Ooh. Ooh. There we go.
Hello back to Trip Organizers,
Hi
Trip
there.
Chat. This is Sean, I'm Beryl. And today we have with us Marta Negra. You can show her now. Marta is originally from Spain. Make sure you unmute her. And from Madrid, one of my favorite countries, cities in Spain. You have been living in Edinburgh now for 4 years. And you have been lots of things in your lifetime, like from personal trainer to now being a filmmaker. And you have traveled the world a lot. And since we're a travel show, we want to know about your travels. So do you want to quickly introduce yourself along the lines of what made you want to become a traveler like you are now?
Well, hello everybody. Thank you to having me.
Yes, so glad to
And
have you.
actually, I think I never have that step to say, yeah, I want to become a traveler. Since I was a kid, I was traveling with my parents, so I guess that stayed with me. And when I grew up, I started to travel by myself.
Yeah, and so you studied all over the place, right? So where did you start studying?
Well, I left Madrid when I was 18 years old, and I went to the south of Spain, to Seville, to study there. So I stayed 4 years, and the fifth year of my degree, I went to Mexico. And I was living in Aguascalientes, in the north of Mexico, and it was amazing. Actually, after 10 months living in Mexico, I can say that it's my favorite country after all my trips. Yeah, it's amazing.
So what is it you like so much about Mexico?
For me, it has like the perfect mix between people that they were so kind and incredible. I still have some friends from Mexico. Food was amazing. In that moment, I was still eating meat, so I was enjoying the tacos al pastor a lot. And then places to visit. They have an amazing places like cenotes to visit, like the lagoons under
the caves,
or even the pyramids. You have jungle, so you can have everything in just one country. So for me, was amazing.
And you said you were studying sports science. So in Mexico, you were doing that as well, or
Yeah. I did like an exchange, kind of an Erasmus, but was overseas. I went to Mexico. Yeah.
And then after that, came back to Spain then, or what made you move to Edinburgh?
No, I came back for maybe some weeks, but then I went to live to Colombia during 2 years. So I was working as a personal trainer there in Colombia.
Yeah.
And I got a certificate as a yoga teacher. So I was there in that field of sport.
Yeah. Okay. So the trip we want to talk about now is what you plan. When did you actually start planning that? You say in your own words, you had a very interesting idea of how you want to make that travel happen.
Well, actually, I always wanted to do like a tour around the world, and the trip itself started just with the idea of the tour around the world. But where I'm from, that is from Madrid, I lived like outside of Madrid, not in the capital. And we have an initiative that is called the bank timing. So that means that everyone has a special skill that can share or can help with someone. In my case, for example, the sports, I know a bit more than regular people.
Yeah.
So I was offering my knowledge in sport. Yeah. But then another neighbor was offering, I don't know, to make cakes.
Yes.
So when someone needs something, we had like a database of services. So someone was asking me, Marta, please, can you give me some recommendations? So make me a workout. So I was doing a workout. And instead of paying me, they were giving me a voucher with time.
Yes.
So I was having 2 hours or 1 hour, depending how much time I was spending. And with that time, I could spend it with another person that I will need the service. So if I wanted to have a massage and someone was offering a massage, with that hour, I could go and pay that person with the timing.
Yes.
So I grew up having that in my life, and I think was a really interesting way to not use the money all the time, because nowadays, like, the money looks that is the most important thing.
Yeah.
So after start saving, because I've been saving for my normal trip, for my tour around the world, like 3 years.
Yeah.
So I say, why I cannot start trying to do this thing of the bartering while I'm traveling. At least I can try. I have the money to travel like a regular person, but if I have the opportunity to do some barterings, why not?
Yeah.
So everything started like that,
Yeah.
like an idea,
Yeah.
and then little by little, I start getting contacts in all the countries, and in the end, I achieved like 56 bartering, where I got an experience, a completely new experience, without using any money.
Yeah.
So that
Okay.
was the main thing of the trip.
So 3
To show that everyone can do it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not that I'm special. I was doing many things,
Yeah.
not just things related with the sport. I was even cooking a Spanish omelette, and on exchange, I got a photo shoot in Poland. So I got a really nice pictures in exchange of a Spanish omelette.
Ah, okay. So
Cool.
like, okay, let's start bit by bit. So you said first was Poland.
Yeah.
So where did you end up first in Poland?
I went to the first city was called Wrocław.
Mhm.
And then I went to Krakow. In Krakow, I was living like 3 weeks. I was exchanging accommodation for help in a hostel.
Uh-huh.
And then I went to the mountains, to Zakopane. So I have a really nice time there.
Yeah.
And I did all Poland hitchhiking. That was one of the things that I wanted to do, because I have to say that I always had it like a bit of respect, the hitchhiking, being a female, traveling alone. So I say I want to face my fears or the respect that I have about the hitchhiking, and I want to do it.
Yeah.
So I've been hitchhiking all around Poland, and was an incredible experience. Always good, perfect, and sometimes was taking me a little bit more of time, but no so much.
Yeah.
And then I spent more or less a month and a half in Poland. I spent as well with a Polish family in the countryside. They were artists, so they were making paintings, and I was learning how to do cheese. I was picking grapes to help them and doing homemade wine. So was really good.
So you learned a lot. So
Yeah.
So what was what did you do in return? Like they liked that you helped, and you learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, in that moment, the exchange that I did with that family, first I create them a website,
Oh.
just to be able to show all the art of the artist,
Yeah.
all the paintings and everything. And also I did a promotional video,
Yeah.
so to help him to promote his art and to sell the paintings. And actually it worked, because after 2 hours of showing the video, someone bought the painting. So it was amazing. Yeah.
Well, that's good. So that's
Yeah.
so you were already a filmmaker at those times already, yeah. So we've got this one picture where you're sitting on a stone and you're looking into the mountains overlooking a lake. Where's that? That looks amazing.
That is in Zakopane.
Mhm.
It's a lagoon that is called Morskie Oko, and it's in the south of Poland, and you can do some trekkings all around, and was really nice.
Yeah. Wow. That's so. How long did you stay with that family then, and how did you actually meet them? How did you get to know them?
Actually, I use a lot the platform called Workaway.
Ah.
That one I use it quite a lot during my trip to get this exchange. But sometimes I just was getting like in contact of people, talking with people in hostel, and getting this bartering, just talking
Yeah.
with people.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Are you still making cheese nowadays?
No, not really.
But it's good to know how to do it just in case.
Yeah.
Okay, so from Poland, I think we showed all the pictures from Poland, and then it went to Lithuania, correct?
Yeah, Lithuania, Latvia, and then I just been few days just to arrive to the point to take the first train to arrive to Russia. So I just spent 5 days traveling around there, doing hitchhiking as well. So it was taking me a bit longer. And then I took a train and I went to Moscow.
Yeah.
And I crossed to Russia.
Okay. So then we'll show Moscow. I think we have Moscow as well, don't we?
Yup.
Yes. Moscow, like again, one of my absolute favorite cities. I just love being there. I've been there shortly after the wall came down, and I've been again with work a lot later, and it's changed so much. So which year have you been there? Which year are we now?
I spent 2 weeks in Moscow. I was in a hostel.
So 3 years ago,
And
or what year? Like 20?
no, yeah, last year.
Last year, yeah. So
Yeah, last
yeah.
year.
And
So I spent there 2 weeks, and actually I learned a lot because one of my exchange there, to get the free accommodation, I became the the tour guide of the metro of Moscow. So
the
I
picture,
had to
the
learn
metro,
everything about the
it looks like
metro.
palaces, doesn't it? It's
It's amazing.
yeah.
It's really nice.
Wow. So how did you tell me about being a tour guide in the metro? That's amazing.
So this hostel where I've been, it has different activities. Some of them, they had this complimentary free tour for all the guests. So I became the tour guide of that.
Right.
And then I was helping as well to cook like the traditional soup of Russia, the borscht.
Borscht,
Or
yeah.
borscht. So I was there with a Russian woman, helping her to cut all the vegetables and everything.
Yeah.
So that was my help
Yeah.
in the hostel, and staying I was living for free
Yeah.
in the
Yep.
hostel.
Yeah. And then, sorry, but the metro, how did that come about that you ended up showcasing the metro?
Sorry, say again?
How did you become a guide for the metro?
Because the hostel was offering a complimentary tour
Yeah.
for them in the subway.
Yeah.
So I learned everything about the metro. So I was the guide of that hostel to do the tour for all the guests.
So that's cool. So how it's one of the oldest ones. Like I know Budapest is the oldest, and then London, then actually Glasgow. So it must have been shortly after that, right? But it's
Yeah.
really old. And when I was there first, the elevators were still wood. They're not anymore because of fire hazards. They changed it. But
Yeah.
that's how it was. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I really like it. Okay, so from Moscow, is that all
We
we
have
have?
another one. No, we got.
We've got another picture of Moscow.
No, it's
No,
it's an island.
No, but then
Isla di Olcohon.
Alcohol.
That is in like at the end of Russia. Olkhon Island, that is from Irkutsk, from next to Baikal
Yeah,
Lake.
that's all the way.
That's the other side. Yeah, like 3,000 kilometers away from Moscow.
So okay, so where did you go after? Do we have a picture of between Moscow and Irkutsk then?
Yeah, actually, I follow all the route of the Trans-Siberian route. I took the different trains, and I've been stopping in different cities like Kazan. That was amazing. I really liked the city. I think I like it even more than to be in Moscow. It's a bit smaller, and you can walk, and it's really good.
Russians, like it's very funny. If you actually travel to Russia, you see the difference because Russian people are so friendly and they're so hospitable, right? They invite in and they but they have the cold outside. It needs a while till you get in, and I do think lots of people who only meet Russians outside their country, they only get the cold outside. They don't get the rest. And I do think the real Russians hardly ever travel because sometimes they can't afford to travel so much. So I think going to Russia is such a different experience, isn't it, than what lots of people think about Russia?
Yeah, actually, for me, after being in Russia, all these stereotypes about Russian people, they are completely wrong.
Yes.
So being in Russia, I spent 2 months in Russia traveling around.
Yeah.
And I think in the 2 months, I just pay 3 or 4 nights, because the rest of the nights I was using couch surfing, and all of them, they were asking me to go with them, and I have to reject and say, I'm sorry, thank you very much, but I have already a coach. So amazing.
Yeah.
They are super friendly, and yeah, incredible.
And how, do you speak a little bit of Russian, or how?
Nah, I just I just learned the tiny word, like how to ask for a glass in the train.
Yeah.
Just to have a coffee.
Yeah.
So I just learned these tiny things like morno stakan, that is, can I have a glass?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I found my dad used to learn Russian, and he taught me a little bit before I went, and it was really helpful because lots of people in Russia don't really have any other languages. But then on the other hand, Russian is so hard. You know, you always pronounce it wrong, but they're like very hand and feet work well, don't they? Like they're really eager to speak to you.
Well, Google Translator was my best friend in Russia, actually.
That's good. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And you like the food? I love the food.
I wasn't eating so much meat,
Oh,
and
okay.
Russian food is plenty of meat.
Yes.
But it was alright.
Yeah.
Actually, it was alright.
Yeah, they have all these pickled things which I really like. But then, well, Spanish might like it. I always found the Brits just couldn't deal with the Russian food because they were like, why is this? But then as a German, we're kind of in the middle, aren't we? Because we eat a lot of pickled food as well. So I do feel like I liked it, but the Brits were like, why would you eat this? This looks weird. So I get it, you know. So yeah, oh, nice. Okay, so how often? So did you then? So you already knew where you were going to go, and you got off the train, and then you got the train again to go further. Is that how you?
Yeah, but the ticket I just was getting it like 2 days in advance.
Yeah.
I wasn't having the ticket.
No, you were like
no.
very flexible.
Yeah, I prefer to stay like with calm, and if I like it a place to stay longer, or yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how was the weather? Did you go in the summer or in the winter? Because
I went in the winter and it was super hard, like extremely hard. I went October, November, and half December.
Yeah.
And at some point I was suffering so much. I was thinking that I was gonna lose my hands, I was gonna lose my feet.
Yeah.
And then I went to Siberia, to the south of Siberia, and I spent like 2 weeks. So there I had more time to spend with people. I was going with like kind of an English school, so I was helping with the English school, Spanish, and then I had the opportunity to do some trekking in Siberia, to do some ski, but it was incredible cold, like minus 35. So it was insane.
Yeah.
I never had this feeling of have my inside of my nose completely frozen. Like I step out of the house, and 10 seconds after, you were having everything like feeling all freezing. So was an experience.
Yeah.
But was hard. Was super hard. I have to be honest.
Especially for a Spanish person who's used to having, different climate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then from the coldest parts of Europe heading towards somewhere like Peru.
No, actually,
Thailand.
after Russia, I went to Thailand.
Thailand, yes.
Okay. Yeah, in December I decided to travel to Thailand. I had enough of cold, and I I jumped to Thailand, and then in Thailand was amazing. From one day to another, I jumped like 30 degrees, and with t-shirt, and I was expecting to be so sick because my body was having that change, but everything went well. And the first place where I've been in Thailand was a rescue center for street dogs. So I spent there like 10 days with 600 dogs every day, cleaning them, walking them, and that was my first point in Thailand.
Yeah. Wow. So many dogs.
Yeah, a lot. They have such a big problem in Thailand with the street dogs.
Yeah. Can you explain where that comes from? Why it's such a thing? Or
well, Thailand, they have really poor areas in all the country, and sometimes people they don't have anything to eat.
Yeah.
So the care that we have for animals, they don't have it there. In like few years ago, they were eating dogs.
Yeah.
So like part of their diet, they were eating. Actually, in Vietnam, they still eat the dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's probably why. It's just a different mentality, isn't it?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
So how long did you work in that dog shelter for? So you said it, but
actually I came back 3 times.
So you
in my trip. Yeah, I love animals, and then after the first time I decided to adopt a dog from Thailand. So in a couple of months, the dog is gonna arrive to Thailand, from Thailand to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a new dog.
Yeah. We've already seen your little companion there, so that
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
just one.
just one, just
So
one.
then you have.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
that's
hope
the idea.
along.
Sorry, say again?
Let's hope they get along. So you just told us your one dog is speaking Italian. The
Yeah,
new dog is going to speak Thai. So how are they going to speak to each other?
I need to train them. I'm gonna need to train them to make them understand each other.
Very good. So you're not just a personal trainer and a video a filmmaker. You're also a dog trainer now, by the looks of it.
Maybe, who knows, in the future I'm gonna do another change career.
Okay, so in Thailand you did uh, many stops, or just from there and then you went on?
No, in Thailand I stay in this place of the dogs,
Yeah.
and then I went to Bangkok to visit the capital.
Yeah.
And in Thailand I had a really good bartering because I contact with a travel agency.
Yeah.
Which they were taking people from Spain, like university people that they were finishing their career, and like the final trip with all the colleagues and everything. So I was helping them with the groups, and on exchange I was traveling for free. So I spent like 10, 12 days in Thailand, traveling in all the islands for free, just in exchange of my help with the group. So that was nice because it was kind of holidays.
We need to change career by the looks of it. Yeah. We need to help somewhere else. So you're a tour guide then as well. So how much did you have to learn about Thai history or geography? Or
not much actually. They were having like tour guides from Thailand to explain all that they were speaking Spanish. So my only task was to go with the group to translate some English if they need it, or no, not much. Like I felt like just part of the group, like one of. I was traveling. I was going to hotels when my whole trip I never been in hotels because I always go. I was trying to save money and going to hostels. So for me, they were holidays because I was going to hotels, to buffets, everything paid. So it was really good.
That's really nice. But you given that we know what it's like to be a tour guide, there is a lot of work involved in making sure the group is traveling smoothly. So you will have also worked a lot. But I know what you mean, that sometimes it still feels a little bit like a holiday, doesn't it?
Because for me, I always was I was doing it, like doing the check-in, doing the checkout. So I just have to do it for someone else, and for me, it was part of my routine. So.
Wow, so you're natural. So that's good to know. Are you thinking of being a bit of a tour guide in Edinburgh sometime? So are you actually doing that?
Well, actually, 1 year ago, I applied to be a tour guide. And I learned as well a bit of the history of Edinburgh. But in the end, and I didn't got the job, and I started doing website and all these videos. But I always like it to talk with people, to explain things, to learn new things. So
you should talk. Like you seem to have a knack for that. So keep that in mind. That's very good. Okay, so we have pictures we really want to show because we found them so amazing. So we've got one of you in Arizona. That just looks amazing. That's a different trip though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a different trip. And actually that trip was with my mom. After Edinburgh, I decided to take like 2 or 3 months of traveling before this big trip. So I went to Peru, but before to Peru, I went to USA, and I went with my mom.
Yeah.
So my mom's dream was to go to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
So one day I say, Mom, what if I buy a ticket and we go together? So I gave her as a present a ticket to go to Arizona and to the Grand Canyon. And we spent 10 or 12 days doing a road trip. And that place is a big wave made in stone. So just 20 people, they can enter each day because it's really fragile.
Yeah.
So you have to be really lucky to get in there. And we were lucky because the day before, you have to go like kind of a lottery. So you have a number, and there's a ranger with a bingo ball doing like that and taking number 6, number 10. And if your number appears, you can go in. If not, you don't have permit to go. So my mom and me, we got the permit in that lottery, so we were so lucky.
Mm.
And was amazing.
Yeah.
Was one of the most amazing experiences for me in all my trips. We had to walk like 2 hours and a half in the middle of the desert. They give you a map because there's not a road, just to keep it like in private and
Yeah.
try to protect the area. So they give you a map with photos, and they tell you, okay, you have to go 100 meters between these two rocks, and you have a picture of the rocks. And then you have to go up this hill and then turn left, turn right. So it was really nice.
Wow. It you know, you said it's fragile, but it makes you want to have a skateboard and go crazy on it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
And do you remember how is it formed? So is that water that went through and then it just formed the whole thing, or?
I think it's this kind of stones that is fragile. So probably with the wind and the water, it created.
Yeah. So we have is that the second Grand Canyon picture now? Yes. So we've got another Grand Canyon picture where you
Sitting on
sit
the
and you're
edge.
overlooking the Grand Canyon. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really nice trip. Yeah, that's the only time that I've been in United States. I'm not super fan of the States because everything is huge,
Yeah.
but talking about nature is really amazing.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Wow. And then so we've got Peru pictures as well, don't we? So we'll show some of your Peru pictures.
Okay.
But that was okay. So Sean needs to quickly organize.
Okay, so we got it's you, Machu Picchu.
Yeah. So after United States, my girlfriend was traveling alone in South America, so we decided to meet in a middle point, and her middle point was Peru. So we decided to meet in Peru and have a little trip of couple of months traveling together in Peru.
Yeah.
So we went to Machu Picchu. We went to another place that is called Huayna Picchu, Choquequirao.
Uh-huh.
That is like the little brother of Machu Picchu. So you need to hike 2 days and a half to arrive.
Okay.
Because it's in the middle of the jungle. There's nobody. It's an amazing place. Really hard to arrive because you have to go up and down all the time. But Machu Picchu for me was a bit disappointing because it was really touristic.
Yeah.
So after that, we wanted to have a real experience. So we searched a bit and we found this other place that was really nice as well.
So yeah, we keep on saying the same things over and over again, that try to avoid crowds. You need to have a local to tell you, or sometimes I always find the travel books, what if they're really good, that's brilliant, but that makes everyone want to go to those places, so then sometimes you can't actually appreciate the loveliness of it all. So I sometimes actually avoid the things that are in the travel book and try to find the ones in between, because you're right, usually there's not only just one place, which is like,
Yeah.
it's usually like one or two more, and then people focus on the one, and then if you go to the other one, then you have it to yourself. And it does make a difference, doesn't it? Because you can breathe it,
Yeah.
like what it feels like. Yeah.
For me, under my experience, what makes the difference in the trip is to have time.
Yeah.
Because when you have time, you can arrive where people like tourists that they just go for a week, they cannot arrive.
No.
So in Peru, for example, we went inside of the jungle, and then we took a boat during 5 days to go out of the jungle.
Yeah.
So these kind of things, you cannot do it if you have just a week.
No.
You need time to do it.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, time is an important factor, isn't it? And just also, even if you don't have time, just maybe do one thing more, and then
Yeah.
leave out the other bits, but to have a deeper experience. Because like just like ticking things off a list sometimes doesn't help you to
Yeah, totally.
I've been one of the guilty ones. If you've got 1 day in a city, you try to tick them off. You get your camera, your bottle of water, and you go. And it's just go, snap, take a picture, and then you try to get a picture with 100 people in front of it and people in your way, and at the end of the day, you're like, well, I've got hundreds of photos, but I didn't really
Take it
enjoy
all
it.
in.
You need sometimes you need 3-4 days or a week just so you can sit in a cafe and watch people.
Yeah.
Totally. That's why when I start my trips, doesn't matter if it's these 7 months or 2 months. For me, it's not important how many days
No.
or how many places, sorry, I stay or I see in the country. I prefer to have the real experience, to have the opportunity to talk with people, to meet local people, and you just need time. Everything is about time. Even to save money, if you have time,
Yeah.
you are gonna save money
Yeah. But yeah,
because you are always gonna
when,
find the cheapest option.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But yeah, that was the first thing I said when we met. When he was like, I need to do this. I was like, whoo, let's sit down,
So loud.
let's have a coffee, and let's maybe, and we can do it tomorrow. And if we don't feel like it,
Yeah.
I just, yeah, I'm like you more. I just need
More mañana.
Mañana, mañana.
So have we missed? Oh yeah, where's the yoga picture? We need to show you as a yoga teacher.
Yes. In Peru, you did yoga instructing as well.
Yeah, that was in a hostel, and that was as well kind of a exchange. That was one of my first exchange out of this big trip of 7 months, and then was there was the first experience to see so I can exchange skills, to get accommodation. So that was one of the first times.
So that, but then your mum wasn't there as well, or was your mum?
No, there I was just with my girlfriend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that worked. So, well, you know what? Like yoga teaching is very important, but they didn't have a yoga teacher already, so that's why they could.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's brilliant.
But sometimes it's not about that if they need it.
No.
In many occasions, if you don't ask, you don't know if they need the help, or even they don't realize that they need something. So I think if you want to travel in this way, you just need to knock different doors, and sometimes people answer to them.
Yeah, that makes sense. And not give up if they say no, then you just try again. Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote many emails that I haven't received any answer.
Yeah.
But some of them, like in Russia, for example, I've been a week next to the Baikal Lake for free.
Yeah.
Just because I've been texting different hostel, and one of them was agreed to make a marketing strategy in exchange to sleep in the hostel.
Yeah.
So in the end, it's just offer yourself, offer your help, show the skills that you have, and somehow sometimes works for other people.
Yeah. That's good.
That's cool.
So, how long did your trip last from Poland all the way to Thailand? How many months was that? Or
After Thailand, I went to Myanmar
yeah.
for a month. So in total, I had to come back earlier because of the coronavirus situation.
Ah.
So that's why my trips was shorter, because I was probably 10 months. That was my plan.
Wow. Yeah.
And in the end, I stayed 7
Okay.
because I was scared to be stuck in Thailand with all this situation.
Yeah.
So I came back early.
Okay, which was in hindsight probably a very good idea. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have in your head? Are you already planning the next trip, or is that take out mañana?
Yeah, probably my way to travel now is gonna change a bit, because as I decided to take this Thai dog with me and take the responsibility to have it, I had to came back early. That's why I didn't brought it with me.
Yeah.
But in August it's gonna be here, and probably we are not gonna travel so far. So now I got a van, and I'm camperizing a van with my girlfriend. So our idea now is just discover Scotland, like even more, because we travel a bit, but discover Scotland with the van, with the 2 dogs, and stay here for a bit before all this situation is gonna calm down, and we can start traveling a bit more in Europe.
Yeah. Oh, that's
so
lovely.
for now, Scotland is home.
Yeah. Actually, I feel it as home. I came back directly here from Thailand rather than to go to Spain, because I prefer to spend my time here rather than in Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have this lovely picture of you up on Carlton Hill there.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Beautiful, clear day too.
Yeah, I was lucky with the weather because here,
Yeah, it can change by the hour here.
That's. I can totally relate to that, because I do think Scotland has exactly that, doesn't it? That it's easy to get in contact with people, and people are very open-minded. So you with your bartering system, I'm sure you would find people who are very open to that here as well. Some might say no, but like I don't think they would be offended by the idea. They would just be like, oh, that's a brilliant idea, and and I do think a lot, I think COVID has shown for the whole world, everyone keeps saying it's brought them closer together with their local community. But I do think that's exactly the point. People want to help, people want to learn new things as well. So it's a wonderful idea to kind of keep that going in the travel world, I think.
Yeah, and you can do it as well in the city. You don't need to do it traveling.
That's true.
You can do it.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course. Yeah, you can keep it local and you can keep it both.
exactly.
Oh, that's lovely. So that was
Cool.
really nice. We shall say goodbye to you in a moment, but we'll quickly announce who we're going to have in the show next week.
Yes, we're going to get sort of the Vegemite of musical instruments. You either love it or you hate it. It's pretty much the bagpipes.
Yeah. We've got Stephen Dewar. He's a bagpiper professionally, and he plays in many events, but also he has a little bagpiping workshop that he does with people, and he's going to talk to us about what he's learned doing, like who he's met, what he's done, and all these things. And we might learn a little bit to play the bagpipes as well. Who knows?
Yeah. So you might want earplugs, you might not.
So that's the Tuesday show next week.
Tuesday
12
next week.
p.m. Bye.